Hello everyone, this is Jasmine, aka gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with the daily tarot forecast or daily energy reading for Sunday, June 24th. So happy Sunday everyone. We're ending the week or starting the new week, depending on your perspective. And so just gonna get into the cards and go over some of the notes that I took. I feel like I'm starting to find my flow or process of how I'm doing things. So hopefully the message is coming through a little bit clearer as I'm really trying to find my way of actualizing the words and the things that's coming through, because I'm realizing like I'm getting a lot and maybe I talk really fast. So I'm going to try and slow it down and really make things a bit more concise. So the first thing that I did want to mention, of course, as far as the current energy, we have the Death card backed and supported by the Ten of Swords in reverse, and then the guidance or insight that most needed to be received is the Knight of Coins in reverse, backed and supported by the Ace of Coins. The Devil card fell out as I was pulling the guidance, so that is there kind of actually as a side note, but it's still very much important, or at least a important aspect or energy, I feel, not just for today, but just the current energy that we've been feeling the past week or so, particularly as Mercury in Cancer started its opposition to Pluto. But I believe there was also that, the short amount of time that was also opposite Saturn. So there has been this, very great kind of like devil energy, very potent, like control us, really wrangling with our own needs for control, our own needs for power, and our own desires to control or manipulate circumstances or other people, or just not just that, but all about us also, maybe just transmuting that energy into ways to learn to work with our own energy manipulation, and maybe even work with our own demons. So that's what I want to start with, the energies for today. So we have here, I'm really not wanting to knock my phone off, so I'm trying to be careful here. All right, make sure you guys can see. So with these two cards here, I definitely feel there's just a heavy emphasis today about rebirth and reawakening. I feel what caught my eye was the lightning in the back of the Death card, and so in this light, I'm seeing that this is really a resurrection. Like there is, of course, the nuance of us still peeling back the layers, but I feel that now a lot of us may be feeling we're at a point of where the layers are getting thin enough to where we can start to break out a little bit ourselves. Like there isn't so much of needing to peel back, where that there is a need to peel back still, but now we can also, with our will, kind of push through, because the shell is thinner, the membrane is thinner. We're able to really break through. And I'm seeing this as our truth, our not just our truth. I really want to put a better word to this. More of our understanding and belief in ourselves, and our confidence and our ambition, our belief that we can create and do. I'm thinking of like the Magician, which is that mercurial card, and not just that, but it's of being, the channeling of spirit, channeling of the divine, that inspiration. That's really what in spirit and inspiration. So we're really being enlightened in a new way to where we're really being able to not just see ourselves and see our surroundings and see our situations and see, ultimately, if you will call them simulations, being able to see them as they are, so you are able to, I feel, play the game a bit more wiser. And not just a bit more wiser, but with the cards we have at the bottom of the deck, we have Two of Wands, we have the Page of Cups, and King of Cups. So I'm seeing this as really the Two of Wands being a few different ways. I see the Two of Wands, sorry, I'm trying real hard not to knock my camera. All right, there we are. So the first way that I'm feeling with this is that there's really just the inner flame that's being fanned. It's really producing and increasing inside of us. We're really being able to, even if you can look at this as the dragon kind of soaking in the sun, even just like a side note for those of you that maybe live in a sunny area, or maybe in an area where it's not so hot, or maybe if you guys can handle the heat, because I live in a very sunny, dry, arid area, so sometimes that's not necessarily advisable here. But I see this as us really soaking in this energy with Venus in Leo, that I'm thinking about it, even as soaking in that fiery energy. And not just that, what else was I thinking of? Oh yeah, the fact that we have the moon moving into Sagittarius close to the end of the day. It'll be around 9:15 for us on the Pacific end, but I know it'll be around midnight for those on the East Coast. So I also kind of see this as a precursor to that. And so I feel like we're in this feeling of like this Page of Cups where it is very vulnerable. It is like where, you know, when your skin can feel very sensitive, like a baby when they're first born, and everything's very sensitive. Everything's you're picking up just on everything, I feel. It's like almost like a magnet. And that's kind of the way that I'm seeing, maybe the way that this is popping up, is that, as I've been mentioning, I'm seeing like the skeletons coming out the closet, good, bad, or indifferent, you know. Whether it's, you know, parts of ourselves that we were convinced to bury away because of, you know, other people's fears or projections about your own abilities or your infinity or divinity, or this could be your own, or it could also be about your attachment to like your attachment to maybe just like the shell, the old comfortable ways of doing things, and needing to let go of that as well. What really I thought was interesting, I mean, besides the fact that the Tower card is underneath all of these cards, is that I was looking at this, the Neptunian, you know, the trident here in the devil's hand, and so I was thinking about Neptune, the fact that it just went retrograde. And so the first thing that I was thinking about when I seen just the Death card and the Ten of Swords was like the releasing of the Titans. And I keep picturing the Hercules movie where the Titans are all unleashed. It's not just, you know, it's not just the good ones. It's not when only Hercules comes into his trueness after he, you know, goes through his own trial and tribulations with Meg and all of that, right? But also, you know, the Titans, the more darker nature of the quote unquote godly, you know, the godliness, or I don't even want to put that kind of stigma on it, but it was just like, that's the way I'm just seeing it in my mind. That, you know, we're coming more into spirit, we're coming more into our higher selves. But it's not just our higher selves that's coming out. The Titans are coming out too. You know, it's the universe isn't, you know, judgmental in that way. Love is not judgmental in that way. It frees everyone. It frees everything. So that's kind of the way that I was seeing that in that context. But just back to this, I'm just seeing it as things are starting to crumble, or certain structures that are not stable, that are more false in nature or just more illusionary in nature, start to crumble. You're just starting to grow not like a thick skin to where you're like hardened, but it's like you just grow a coat to where you're able, like you're in touch, like you're able, you're there, but you're not so mutable, I guess. I don't know how to put it. Maybe I'll find the words in a moment as I move here into the Knight of Coins in reverse with the Ace of Coins. And so what I did see first with this Knight of Coins is I look at the Pentacle here, and I look at, making sure it's in the camera, and I look at the way the trees are looking more like the root of this Pentacle. And I don't really lay these cards out in this way. I only do that so it fits in my camera frame. But I'm actually starting to relate I at least see the relation of the cards in this more visual manner, where I'm seeing this as we're nurturing and protecting and yeah, just seeing it as a nurturing of this new foundation, of this new inner strength, this new flame, that is growing, this just new passion, this new sense of self, this new security of self. And again, I'm just seeing the way that this Two of Wands is playing in. It's just growing a little bit further and further and further. Let's see, is there any other notes that I wrote down? Yeah, I was just seeing it also as, I was also seeing this as us needing to fortify our fortress or our temple. If you want to see it, see our bodies and see even our mental bodies, just all of our bodies as temples. And so the way that I'm also seeing it is like the battle is with the devil here, this devil energy of trying to take control, or not even trying to take control, but the way I kind of seeing it is it has had control and now it's losing control. So maybe that's a better way of putting it, is that it's losing control. And so as it's losing control, you're kind of like building up to kind of fortify from the inside out, to really make it harder for it to grip, make it, just to kind of further along this process of purging, this process of, releasing this, energetic vampire, this leech. I believe that was it. Yeah, I just mentioned that it made me think of the full moon phase beginning soon, where there'll be, even more further emotional growth being actualized, more emotional maturity. I believe the moon in Sagittarius, as I said, is going to it's going to help further this growth, further just encourage and help just be a catalyst for this growth, for us to help develop this inner strength and courage, for us to not just be strong, but also there's a certain level of being open, of being vulnerable to what is happening. Not in a sense of like, oh, I'm just going to throw myself into the fire, like in a martyrdom kind of fashion, but more as I will walk through the fire. Like if there's really no way out, or not even just if there's really, but it's like, if this is the way, this is the trial I'm going to walk through, I'm going to hold my strength and courage to where I'm kind of picturing it to where, yeah, the fire is hot, but you got to be hotter. And in that way, in you being hotter, you won't be the one hurt or harmed or not necessarily changed. You'll be like the parts of you that can't endure the flame, the parts of you that are not, at that level, will have to, won't be able to survive. But the parts of you that can will, and I feel like that's the whole point. yeah, I think that's really essentially that I put for my notes. So thank you for watching, for tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that great stuff. As always, I appreciate the love and I appreciate your attention. So I hope that this resonates. I mean, take what does resonate and leave what doesn't, but I hope that this kind of helps bring a little bit more insight into the energies as of late, or at least as of today, maybe. And I hope that you feel some insight about, nurturing and protecting yourself. I feel like this is really just a time to not just spend time within, but to build healthy boundaries. It's not just about building boundaries in general. Not all boundaries are ultimately healthy or sustainable. Maybe sustainable is a better way of putting it, because you can put up strong, hard, really intense walls, but there's pros and cons to everything. So before I just ramble on into that, because that was just taking me on a whole nother train of thought. Please do check out the daily readings. Check out the new moon in Gemini reading before I get the full moon in Capricorn reading out later this week. I will be putting out the weekly reading today as well, so I'm excited to get that, and I'm just excited as I further find my just my whole routine, or just my whole process of how I'm really trying to organize the information that I receive, because I receive a lot of information. It's just, it can come off very scattered if it's not organized, if it's not properly structured. And maybe that's also kind of what's going on with me myself. I have Mercury in Cancer natally, so I feel maybe I'm getting a taste of that opposition in a more intimate way. So I hope this reaches you all well. Hope you have a great Sunday, a great end of your weekend, beginning of your week, and until the next time, bye.